Hello, everyone. I'm Anastasia from .art Domains, and I'm happy to greet you here. We are a community of over 300,000 creatives who choose to be on .art. Among our adopters are museums, artists, platforms, Web3 creatives, digital artists, and many more. And today I'm excited to have a very unusual conversation, actually, for many reasons. Because first of all, we're going to get an exclusive look behind the scenes of the Venice Biennale, because we're hosting some of the participants of Ecuador's National Pavilion. And second of all, because we'll be juggling between languages. So that's going to be English and Spanish, but we have here members who speak both languages, so it's going to be fun, and hopefully the translation goes smooth. And I myself am the head of content and .art. I was fortunate to once have been present at the Venice Biennale back in 2017. It's an incredible endeavor that is put together by the producers, curators, and all the other professionals behind it. And very often as visitors, I think people don't realize how much work goes into it and exactly what kind of work. And when we were talking before we put together the webinar with some of the participants, we were saying that really it's like a spaceship that has to be launched into space. And when the end product is seen, little is known about what went into it. This year's Biennale's theme is in minor keys, which is all about giving space to the sort of quieter processes of artistic practice, like healing and intimacy, and embracing the fact that creatives and artists react to what's going on in the world in different ways. So it's even more interesting to talk about how it's put together now, because there is so much controversy and human factor and interaction and collaboration that has to happen for any national pavilion or anything that arrives to the Biennale these days to actually be there. And let me, without further ado, start introducing our speakers. First, I'm going to introduce my co-host, Daria. Hi, Daria.
I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. I'm a curator, museologist, and art journalist. And since 2018, I was collaborating with .art, and now I'm working as head of art and strategic partnerships at .art. And in my work there, I focus on developing projects that move between digital and physical contexts. And at .art, we really try to step into public and institutional spaces also, and curating projects across very diverse geographies. These projects, when they are also within the physical realm, they can take place even within the cityscapes sometimes. For example, we're using digital screens to display digital art, or some experimental formats within the cityscapes, like, for example, nomadic performances. End of last year, we hosted one in Amsterdam. And also it can take place in museum environments as well. So although we seem to be very much about the digital realm, we're also pretty active offline and engaging with audiences through different formats and also through public interventions. And today I'm very happy that we're going to speak about the Venice Biennale, which is approaching only a couple of months. And in particular, of course, about the Ecuador Pavilion. And I think it's really a fascinating topic to discuss because also of the theme of the soft power of arts, and also the unique role in shaping cultural dialogue, and also the way the artistic perspectives are presented to the international audiences. So I'm very excited to explore these diverse significances and the ideas behind the project as well.
Thank you, Daria. And speaking of soft power, it's important to note that part of all the proceeds we get from the sale of .art domains go to the Healing Powers of Art initiative. So if you want to get your .art domain, you're also doing a good deed. And we'll be sharing a promo code at the end of this webinar, so you can explore whether you want your digital presence to be on .art. And now we're joined by Anna Shvets. Anna Shvets Ash is a .art ambassador and director of Tetris Arts and head of or participant of AI Hokusai .art projects. She wears so many hats that sometimes it's very hard to determine which hat she's wearing right now. But here today she's with us as the producer of the Ecuador Pavilion, and she'll be introducing the rest of the speakers, but for now, Anna, I'd love to give you the stage so you can speak a little bit about yourself and the context way here.
Yeah, hello colleagues, hello everybody who are listening us today. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It is very important for us to be seen and to show some backstage from Ecuadorian Pavilion. About myself, I'm art manager, cultural producer, contemporary art researcher. I also teach art business and art PR for many years. And for more than 20 years, I have been working in art industry, doing projects like crazy art projects all over the world, including underwater volcanoes and glaciers of Antarctica. I lived and worked in Venice for many years, and twice I was opening pavilions there. And this time I was invited to produce National Pavilion of Ecuador. And it's a great honor for me, being Ecuadorian now. For 7 years already, I think that it's in great much to be here because I can really put more my experience in production and knowing Venetian art scene and international art scene into all the processes. And but I want to present my colleagues who are also here today, and we are a great team. Sometimes we have some discussions, but it is part of the process. So here we have today Stephanie García, who is Executive Director of the Museum of Anthropology and Contemporary Art, Commissioner of the Pavilion. Hi, Steph. She herself is a cultural manager, artistic director, and museum production specialist with over 15 years of international experience in Ecuador and United States and Europe. And museum itself, and Stephanie will give us more information, it's a key cultural institution in Ecuador dedicated to preserving archaeological and modern heritage and promoting contemporary art. Can you imagine that the collection has like 60,000 pre-Hispanic and archaeological pieces and more than 3,000 works of modern and contemporary art? It is actually a treasure of Ecuador. And yes, Stephanie will give us more information. And now I want to present all the participants of the conversation of today. We have Manuela Moscoso. She is very experienced curator. She is an inaugural executive and artistic director of the Center of Art Research and Alliances, CARA, in New York. And she curated Biennale Las Amazonas, formerly curator of Liverpool Biennial, and senior curator of at Museo Tamayo. And her career as a curator involves many projects all over the world, and we are happy and very proud to have her as a curator of Ecuadorian Pavilion. Here we also have representatives of Tawna Collective, Sunny and Enoch, exactly from Amazonian territories, and thank you so much for joining us today. Tawna is anti-colonial collective formed by Sapara, Quichua, and Mestizo artists who create from the rainforest as a territory of memory, resistance, and vision. This collective, it has already almost 10 years, and their practice explores video, photography, living archives to imagine narratives through dreams, ritual, and embodied. Tawna is like the ancestral tool that propels canoe, connects territories, affections, futures from its Amazonian roots. And we also, in our soul, together with Oscar Santillan, who is working today in production of his sculptures. And the process is so complicated that Oscar will be just as a soul with us today. Oscar is very experienced artist who works on the intersection of art, science, contemporary technologies, and ancestral forms of knowledge. And Now on the screen, you can see some of his works. He also teaches contemporary art, and the central to his practice is the concept of anti-world, understood as a tool for intuiting the plurality of worlds that coexist beyond dominant orders and beyond the categories that seek to delimit what can be imagined. So very, very interesting philosophical background of his work, and we will speak about his work also today. And yes, now we are all here, and I think that we can go straightly to Stephanie to learn more about the commissioner and the ideas behind the participation of Ecuador in the most powerful and the most significant event in the art world, La Biennale di Venezia.
Hi, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Hi. Well, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for the invite and for having us here. I think this is a great platform to let everyone know what we're up to and how we got here. As Anna mentioned, I am the executive and creative director of the Anthropological and Contemporary Museum in Ecuador. It's a national museum. It's located in Guayaquil, which is the largest city in Ecuador. And yes, we handle two things that are, particularly people might think it's very different, but in reality, everything has to do with the anthropological view of things. So we have archaeological items at the museum. We also have modern art, and we handle contemporary exhibitions with commissioned curators, and basically I'm in charge of curating the agenda for the museum and working with a whole bunch of artists and curators and around the world and locally. And about 2.5 years ago, when the last Biennale was happening, I was just starting my tenure as director of the museum, and together with the Ministry of Culture, we decided to team up and figure out what we needed to participate in this year's Biennale. There's a particularity that the Biennale has. This is the first time that Ecuador is going to be there, administrated by a public institution. It had previously been a part of the Biennale, I believe 10 years ago or so, but it was handled solely by one artist. And this occasion, we have the whole team of the museum teamed up as a public institution. So we're very excited. We've been working on this for about 2 years. So as you can imagine, right now we are on the last part of the rope of this production. We're excited, tired, mad, sad. All the emotions have come into one place, but I feel like things are coming together. And I am particularly honored to be working along with Tawna. I've followed their work for a couple of years, and when Manuela proposed this for the project, I believed it to be just an excellent choice of representation of our country, not only artistic wise, but also just everything in between. And so I want to thank them for being here, for taking the time to cut some time to be here with us right now. And also Manuela is someone who, it's a relationship that was born from this project. like I said, I had been involved with the Ministry of Culture for about 2 years in all the paperwork and lobbying and visits to Venice to be able to participate this year. And as the director of the Museum of Contemporary Art, and as you know, having this gigantic responsibility of curating the agenda, I was placed as commissioner to curate who will be curating this this project. And it was an important task. It was something that that was handed to me, and I presented the work to our commission of the museum and of the institution. And you know, by far, Manuela's trajectory and all the work that she had been doing, and particularly the work that that I had seen through her last year's work as the curator of the Biennale de las Amazonías, was something that, you know, blew my mind and made me feel that we would be completely well represented at the Biennale. So we made the call to Manuela without her knowing. It was a surprise call, and just to get a feeling about what she thought about it. And since then, we've been working together, and it's been an absolute pleasure. I've learned a lot from her. She, as Ana mentioned, she currently directs the CARA, the Center for Arts and Research and Alliances in New York. And just by having that curriculum makes things easier, better, and helps us get in an international view, something that Ecuador has lacked for a while. So this is a gigantic historical moment for Ecuador, for our artists. It's not something that we wanted to happen once and you know, or something that we just want to be a part of. This is us opening a way for future artists, future producers, future curators, so that this can be the first of many times. So we're hoping to see all of you there, starting the week of May 6th. And yeah, I'm just very thrilled to be a part of this and to be connected with Ana as well as a general producer, to be connected with our set designers, with our production team in Italy. It's just been an enormous job. I think it's a commitment that we're doing for the love of it, and like I said, for the future of Ecuador's art world.
Thank you so much for sharing this, Stephanie. Just a note from for everyone listening is that if you have any questions for our speakers, drop them in the comments section, and there'll be a Q&A at the end. So hopefully we'll be able to address that. And I think, Anna, correct me if I'm wrong, next we wanted to give a word to Manuela.
Yes, please, Manuela, tell us more about your concept of the pavilion, about your work, and some insights that can be interesting to listen to for the audience who are listening us and want to know everything about the insights from the production and curatorial work. Mike?
Yeah, if you could unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Good morning from New York. I have to start by saying thank you for this space. It's always nice to start speaking about projects that you take a long time to make them happen, since it starts to be like, it feels real as well, like it's actually happening. So it's not only planning. So thank you so much for being with us today and being interested in what we are doing. I think as I will continue a little bit like what both Ana and Stephanie are saying in relationship to the pavilion. As we all know, the biennial is the oldest of its form, and it has a very sort of, I would say, a particular format which many other biennials used to have and have changed since, no, the country representation. But I think Venice somehow has continued to do this format, and as well as creating very important exhibitions where there is a curator who sets the tone of the entire edition. I think I have to start by saying that Koyo is like a very great companion for us. All the ideas around her practice, it has to do with listening, to sort of understanding how we occupy a space in this world, how we can make a change. So being not only invited to do the first pavilion, I think is the perfect companion to be in doing this with the minor keys ideas that Koyo brought into our worlds. So I also want to say that pavilions have biennials in general have always a involvement of or like some sort of doses of stress, because it usually has to do with representation, even if it's a curatorial stand or not, even if it's country representation or not. So doing the first one, where actually Stephanie, the team, sort of from the public sector, wanting to establish a format that has a continuous life, that can support the practices in Ecuador, it's great. And I feel very honored to be part of the project, since our success means that many other people can, have the opportunity to do it in future years. So the way that I took this invitation, I mean, in a way, an honor as well, a challenge, because none of us have done this before. And as well, we are a country, Ecuador. We have our, every project has limitations, and we have some that you respond from there. The project, you need to know like what are the potentials and limitations in each invitation. And I knew that I wanted to invite, I'm really into the format of duo shows in general. I do very often duo shows. And for this first biennial, I thought that it could be interesting to have a conversation. So this idea of the first pavilion is not only with one, but with many. So both having Oscar Santillan as one artist with a sort of quite international career. I would say one of the most established artists in Ecuador, with a very active life in Holland, with 3 galleries. It's something rare in Ecuador. Not that many people have that type of relationships with the art world as Oscar has. And then Tawna, who is a collective that I just work with them in the Biennale of las Amazonias, who I think represents another way of making, producing, sharing knowledge, sharing resources, and presenting mostly video work, but not only that. I thought having this kind of very full, bold group of artists doing the first presentation was the best way moving forward. We are in these duo shows, like what I think in duo shows is I'm not sort of a thematic curator. I'm not interested in themes as much. I am interested in the big relationships that can build when 2 practices are set together. So on the one hand, you have Oscar, who is really questioning around how ideas of knowledge, truth, how we read the world, even in scientific terms, has a very loaded stream of colonial and extractivist histories in it, which have left outside ways of reading the world that are more holistic and less about the culture-nature division that is the base of Western thought. So, and then Tawna, on the other hand, they are really coming from the territory. They are working within a different cosmology, thinking exactly in how another point of perspective of experiencing the world can be and can happen, and what are those knowledges, how those shapes, how those forms are produced when you have a different set of relationship with your surrounding. And their work as well is like the way how they produce. Some of the works are collaborative, but often there is one author within the work that is like the one who moves the story, perhaps I would say. And in the case of the work that we are showing, are very both very artistic in a sense that it is a fiction, art is a fiction anyway, but it's a fiction very well produced with a foundation of a cosmology that it comes from the Panamazonic Andino territories. And I think it's very, very beautiful. So in a way as well, questioning the learned structures that we had with the colonial processes as well within the Ecuadorian territories. So so these are like two sets. The exhibition is called Tawna y Oscar, as you will go to see two people that you know. And I wanted that proximity with the project, is really to open the world of a place that not that many people know, but I'm sure that a lot of people know even where it is. So
definitely learning a lot today.
Yeah, so one has to learn like what it even means Andino, what it means Panamazonia, like even geographically, we have geographically the Ecuador is like incredible. You have, you're in a point, and within 6 hours you can be in the beach, and within 6 hours you can be in the mountains, and 6 hours you can, it's really incredible. We have 5 types of biological lands, like the biomas that connect Los Andes with the Panamazonia. The Andes are, the volcanic, the ice of Los Andes end up in the Amazon and end up in the Atlantic. So it's like really, it talks really about a very important region in the Americas as well, and all the relationships that mean to live to live in such a particular place, politically, economically, socially, etc. So I think it's interesting. It's the first time as well that people will identify with a country. Many people don't identify me with a country, since I've been living for many, many years abroad. But it's a very the best way to be identified with a place that it's complex. It's not, you cannot tell it in one line, never, and it's contradictory. It's exciting, but also is it's how to describe a place is as well very subjective and personal.
Thank you, Manuela. Thanks. And I think this would be a great time to go to our artists, the Tawna Collective, so we could speak a bit directly to them. So, Anna, if you could please facilitate that.
Yes, of course. Sunny, Enoch, estamos aquí y queremos escuchar su visión. ¿Qué significa para ustedes ahora esta preparación y participar en Pavilion en la Bienal de Venecia? ¿Qué significa para ustedes? ¿Cómo se sienten? ¿Y cómo se sienten que en este momento, en 2 meses, todo el mundo artístico, ¿okay?, va a ver su obra? ¿Qué significa para ustedes? ¿Qué sienten?
Just to make sure, Anna will translate afterwards. So now she's just asking how the artists basically feel about representing Ecuador, and the fact that the whole art world, at least, will be at the Biennale looking at them. So they'll reply, and then we'll have the translation. Thank you. Yeah.
Hola a todos. Hola. Qué gusto volver a verte, Manuela. Bueno, primeramente agradeciendo este espacio en la Bienal a Manuela. Gracias por la invitación. Es nuestra primera vez, bueno, segunda vez en un espacio así. Y creo que para nosotros es mostrar de dónde venimos, ¿no? Pisando fuerte la tierra, para mostrar de qué selva venimos, de qué estamos hechos, ¿no? Contando historias fuertes, contando nuestras realidades también. Entonces nos emociona mucho de llevar nuestro arte que hacemos. Nosotros como pueblos indígenas ya nacemos con este arte en nuestras venas, en nuestras manos. Nosotros ya hacemos arte, haciendo cerámicas, tejiendo, también soñando. A través de nuestros sueños también creamos imágenes. Entonces, para nosotros es muy, muy lindo estar ahí y ser parte de todo esto. Es realmente emocionante, ¿no? A nosotros todo nos emociona y es como lo hacemos divertido. Al rato de crear nuestras obras también nos divertimos al crear, pensamos, soñamos cuando estamos creando también. Entonces es muy emocionante para nosotros estar en este pabellón mostrando las historias de nuestros abuelos, nuestras realidades en nuestros territorios. Entonces es la primera vez que van a ver un arte que es en colectivo, un colectivo indígena, con personas también no indígenas que nos hemos reunido para crear cine, para crear arte, para hacer fotografía, para contar historias con nuestras propias voces, en nuestros idiomas también.
Vale, Sani, si podrías dar
No
tiempo.
sé si no quiero
para traducir. Yeah, yes, thank you, Sani. Muchas gracias, Sani. She was really very grateful to this space where she can tell more about the art that they are bringing to the pavilion. They are very excited to go to and participate in this pavilion because it is a great opportunity for the collective to show what are they made of, what are those stories that they were growing up with, because they have art inside their veins. They are growing up with art inside, and they are doing ceramics, they are doing textiles, they are doing different kind of art, but always it is very organically connected to their dreams, to their reality of everyday life. And also it was very interesting to listen to Sani because she is mentioning that they are having fun during this process of art making, and they want to share this feeling of having fun during the process, and they want to share the stories of their grandfathers, grandmothers. They want to share the stories of the territories where they are living. They want to show real life that is so beautiful there where they are coming from. And they also think that it is very beautiful, all the process of preparation to bring this beautiful art and beautiful stories to the audience. And the collective is formed by indigenous people, but not only by indigenous people, and they are uniting forces to present the best way what they want to share with people from around the world during the pavilion work in La Biennale di Venezia.
Great. And Enoch, si podría contestar la misma pregunta.
Hola con todas y todos que están aquí compartiendo este espacio conmigo y con los que nos están escuchando y viendo. Yo no soy tan fluyente como Sani, me pongo nervioso cuando ocupo un espacio de estas, disculparme cuando me trabe. No sé si Ana quiere traducir o continúo.
He was also saying thank you to the audience, but he's not so self-confident in public speaking, so he feels a little bit nervous about it. But I think that we understand it. We're also a bit nervous. ¿Sí? ¿Sigue?
Ya. Nosotros estamos muy emocionados por ocupar este espacio, ya que nosotros consideramos que que es un espacio político, este pabellón. Entonces nos emociona mucho llevar el arte desde nuestra perspectiva, de contar cómo nos relacionamos nosotros con el territorio, cómo este espacio también nos sirve para mostrar las violencias que sufrimos o que sufre nuestro territorio, porque nosotros como pueblos indígenas y como colectivo siempre mantenemos esa comunicación relacional con todo, ¿no? Entonces hemos visto que el arte también es una herramienta para mostrar esas violencias sistemáticas a veces que sufrimos los pueblos indígenas y otros espacios, ¿no? Entonces estamos muy emocionados trabajando también como para dialogar, también para que sea más comprensible para este espacio de otro nivel, ¿no? De compartir este espacio con artistas famosos, muy reconocidos. Entonces estamos emocionados y también nerviosos como para cumplir esta expectativa de que estemos al nivel de este espacio que nos ha invitado Manuela con mucho gusto, y además también por lo que consideramos que nuestro trabajo ha sido reconocido, ¿no? Y que se está reconociendo desde nuestra perspectiva, cómo nosotros también podemos producir arte.
Muchas gracias, Enoch. Voy a traducir. Yes, they are very nervous, but very, very excited about what is expecting them in La Biennale. Ellos, they are understanding that art can be also an instrument to tell the stories and to tell more about the sufferings that the territory, the land where they came from, are suffering from the politicians, from very difficult situations that are now there in the Amazonian territories. So for them, it is also an instrument for dialogue, to tell their stories and to listen the reaction. And it is also very exciting for them that their art brought them to this level of international contemporary art scene, and they will see internationally recognized famous artists there, and for them it is also very good opportunity to present their art, to present their stories, and to be recognized as players of this international art scene, but with importance of the territory that is in the center of their art.
Eso era todo lo que yo quería compartir con ustedes. Gracias.
So just one thing that I thought, and I don't know if it really came across, and is very, very important, that I mean, I think this is like being present in a pavilion is not only a recognition, like, you will have recognition for artists, it's a recognition of other forms of being in the world. And I think this is why it's not only political in terms of like, it's great, we represent the country. It's political because we are talking about a very sensible line between, is not only sufferings, but the structural violence that has happened over centuries towards people, indigenous people, in different parts of the world.
La Manuela estaba dando algunos comentarios sobre que no solamente sobre la violencia, pero también sobre las structures y las estructuras y las situaciones que estaban pasando la gente indígena durante todos los tiempos que existe esta confrontación entre mundo indígena y personas que entran de otras partes del mundo.
Thank you, Anna, for all the translations. I had a question for Stephanie, actually, kind of coming back to the overall discussion of the pavilion, because, of course, it's national representation that you had here at the Biennale, but a lot of people, I think, see the Biennale and the pavilion just as exhibition, but actually it's a very complex organisms that has so many functions behind it. So I'm wondering if you could share, perhaps from the museum's perspective, what does it take for Ecuador to be at the Biennale, and what was the biggest challenge or revelation or kind of experience that you are taking with you away from this project so far? Because I know you still have 2 months left, but I'm sure it's already been a great journey.
Sure. Well, I think, the fact that this is going to be our first time that we have an institutional recognition says a lot. The cultural aspect of in Ecuador has been something that has always been left to the end. I think this is worldwide, right? We suffer with all our budget cuts. There's a whole bunch of current events and political issues that force areas like culture and education to be not taking into consideration as they should. There's also a struggle of respecting art as a whole, and not just something as an aesthetic point of view, but that it could be an integral part of the economic system as well. So I feel like that's been a gigantic struggle, and one which I hope that can be reached at some point. So by us proposing this to the state, right, proposing that this is something that is not only significant as representation, but significant to the country in so many ways. It's been, a very hard job done together with the ministry, the Secretary of Culture, to find funds, right? The funding part is definitely the hardest part. As of now, we're lobbying, meeting, and even though the state is supporting a good part of this project, it's still a project that has a lot of budgeting issues that need to be taken care of. So I do believe that has been one of the hardest struggles, to be able to come together with the amount of budget that can work and make things flow with our teams, for the artists, and with everything that has to do. I believe also that there are so many, I wouldn't want to be so blunt to say inequality, but the reality is that we have so many countries, including the country where we're going to have our pavilion, that they're used to working with budgets a lot more larger than what we have. So for us, I believe that has been an extreme struggle, also to sell to the government and to the private sponsors what it takes and what it means to be a part of this, so that it can be taken seriously. I do think that that's a whole job of lobbying that we've done together with the Ministry of Culture. And I do think that by having the team that we have with Manuela, with Ana, with myself and the Ministry of Culture, we've been able to take a stance on that this is something real, this is something that is being done responsibly, and it's something that is going to open many roads for future artists. I do believe that this is an opportunity for Ecuadorian artists, women, indigenous artists, well, Oscar, obviously, that he's currently not with us, but that it's an opportunity to let the world know what Ecuador has to offer in regards to contemporary art. So I'm very excited. I do feel that we're going to be strongly represented. And yes, it's been like having a second child and a second museum to make this happen. But we're getting close to it, and the ideas are being materialized as we speak. And I have no doubt that our representation is going to be one for the books and one to be remembered. So yeah, I hope that you guys get to cover this as well.
Definitely. And just a reminder, because we're mentioning a lot of names and the artists and everything, you can find all of the information about the pavilion at pavilion-of-ecuador.arts. It's also in the comment section, so you can click it there. And there is a donate button, so you're very much encouraged to donate, as this pavilion is very impressive. And as Stephanie was sharing, fundraising is always a challenge. I know that Daria has a question for our group.
Yeah, thank you, Anastasia. Actually, I had a question for Manuela. I was wondering, I was reading like one of the texts about the pavilion, and there the pavilion was described as the space for listening, the space for also attention. And I was wondering which types of the curatorial and also artistic strategies will be used there in order to create this attentive mode of, engaging with art, because as we know, the Venice Biennale itself is a very, very fast-paced environment. So how do you think it will be possible just sort of like to slow down and just like to land there?
I mean, I think there is two questions in your question to me. One is one is in relationship of the exhibition design. That exhibition design has been created to be quite unique. We are working with Manuel Rieder, a very important collaborator. I've worked with him in different projects in the past to make sure that the exhibition design create a texture that will distinguish from other exhibitions. So that is something very important for us, but also very important to create as an experience, like when you enter to a place, how that mobilize you as a viewer. I think depends when probably you are in the biennial. It's 6 months biennial, obviously in the first week everyone is hectic and no one has time for anything or everything, but publics are not only the ones of that week, publics are the ones who are coming throughout the 6 months. And I think it's like a kind of a responsibility as well from the people who enter into spaces of art, and have also is like a relationship. I can be open to receive you, but you have to be open to go, so it's a little bit kind of a dance of two or many. I think what we do as curators is that we try to create a sense of openness, and then we also need that the people who are visiting have an openness to see the works too. So I think one, I would say, is much more about the exhibition design and how you prepare that. It's not a big show. It's not it's not about monumentality in many ways. It's about monumentality of life, if you like, rather than monumentality of these big projects that you will see in Venice sometimes. So it has a different type of a scale. And then for us, for instance, it was much more important to have a space where it will be within the circuit. So so it's like what we hope is that we get visited, and of course that people will engage as much as possible. But
and by the way, where will it be located? Like, what is the exact location? Because we would love to promote it as much.
Yes, I'm sure Anna knows exactly the place. I can tell you that it's between Garibaldi and the main road that goes to the Jardins. So it's really well placed. But Anna might know the exact address. I have no idea.
Yeah, we will definitely leave the exact address in comments. I will send it now. But yeah, absolutely, Via Garibaldi, for all the art folks who are traveling there to Venice, it is like the street that connects two main venues, Arsenale di Venezia and Giardini di Biennale. So you're entering Garibaldi Street, and then the first right hand, and you will have our pavilion. And actually our pavilion has 2 entrances. That is a very big deal, because we will have people entering from the side of Laguna and also from Via Garibaldi, and you can go through like cutting your way, but also enjoying the art that is presented inside the pavilion. And the location is the location. And for all the people who are planning to go to Venice, please don't lose this opportunity to enter this pavilion and to experience what we are preparing for you. It will be something that I hope, and I'm almost sure, that will change your vision on Ecuador and on the problematics and histories that we have for you.
Yes, Anna, something to put on the website definitely is the address and the location. So I hope you put it there so we can promote it further. And question from the audience, a very reasonable one actually. Jeff is asking, will the artists themselves be attending the Biennale in person or just the arts? So I know that they will, and maybe you could speak a bit more to that and what kind of organization goes into that and what artists should really be mentally preparing for, if that's something that they have as an ambition for their career.
I think there is no biennial without artists, right? So I think, especially if they're representing, this is like the biennial about representation. So I think, Stephanie, I don't know if you want to say something about it, but I would say that the most supported people in this whole process, at least as a curator, would be the artists. They are
absolutely,
yeah.
No, absolutely. We're not only will they be there, but they're going to be part of the process in the making of the space. Manuela is very transparent and open about that. They'll be there, a few days before opening the space. So they'll be directly involved with their art pieces and just making sure that everything is how they feel that the pieces should be. And we're also, the entire team will be there until May 10th, welcoming everyone who's visiting the space and talking about their work. So it's very important for them to be a part of that and be present.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to say also some words for our young listeners who joined us today. When you're thinking about participating in La Biennale di Venezia or some other important art events, I must say that you should be prepared professionally. And here I have to tell as an example how we are working with Tawna. Despite of the location, they are far away from the main civilization. They are always answering all the emails, providing all the information needed, like respecting deadlines. And that is very important in this preparation phase, because we are really acting as a spaceship where discipline is an important ingredient, because we are working on several directions simultaneously, and it is absolutely crucial to have respect for your colleagues who are working on different tasks than yours. We have a lot of questions to solve. We have this very high level of responsibility to La Biennale di Venezia Foundation, and they have their own very strict rules for national participants, and we need to follow all the procedures. We have venue that was not an easy task to find, but we found the best one. We have all these very serious work with budget, not to forget about anything important, and to include everything that is needed to great representation of our artists during the biennial. We have work on the opening, we have work on the guest list, we have to work on the PR and communications, we have to work on many logistic issues for artists, for artworks. And there are so many processes that are coming through all our days that we need to be very very responsible, and we should remember about irreversibility of time, that time is not getting more days in our calendar, where we have less and less and less till the opening. So it, it is like on the space station, when you have like 5, 4, 3, 1 vamos, and we go. So we are all in this feeling of excitement and also concentration to achieve our goal. Our goal is great representation of Ecuador during this a most important art event, I consider. And also with the opening, it just starts, and then we need to give all the possibilities to our artists to be seen, journalists and curators and international art institution to see them, to listen to them, to understand what we are trying to tell with this pavilion, and also to all the guests who will enter to the pavilion, to give them as much our love and information as possible. So everybody, you are very welcome to the Pavilion of Ecuador till 22 of November. We are open to the public, and please come.
Thank you, Anna. Actually, we have a very nice comment here from the audience, from a proud Ecuadorian who is an architect living in Milano, congratulating you on the representation and everything you've done. So thank you, Jana. And yeah, I'm sure for a lot of Ecuadorians listening, it's also very a significant moment to see Ecuador present there.
Say something just in relationship to that, because I think it's very, very important, and why so I mean, like, we are so happy, and really everyone who is involved giving it all for this opportunity, because it really is a place where unfortunately there is not a collective understanding of the value of the culture that is produced there. Like, I think what we want is to amplify how valuable is the things that we produce, and this is exactly the place where we can do that. And that's why I feel like everyone is very, very excited, every Ecuadorian, and I say hello to every Ecuadorian who is in the room, because we are all feeling, like, yes, we have an amazing place with amazing production. You have to, Ecuador doesn't even have commercial galleries as such, so there is not like, is a scene that lives out of love and of cultural producers that put everything they have in order to maintain the circulation of this type of culture, or any type, I would say. So that is why we are extremely, extremely happy as Ecuadorians to have this opportunity to do this.
Thank you. Daria, Anna, do you have any closing remarks before we finish?
I had a little question also for Manuela, because you were mentioning that, of course, like, it's a lot about the dialogue between the two artists, or the artist and the collective. And then I was just curious if there was some sort of a moment during the process when the direction of the project, like, a little bit shifted, just because it was also a dialogue between the two.
I mean, there is always a dialogue. So when you produce an exhibition, is always pieces are in dialogue with each other. So it's not an exhibition where they are literally in dialogue, the two collectives, and they are producing something anew, the collective and the artist. Is really that dialogue in an exhibition format. So what it means is, like, which works or what type of presentation will create an interesting conversation in the space. So what the things that you take in consideration is the space. Literally, what can you do? What can you put? What you cannot put? What are, like, the works that you can show? Like, all the sort of practicalities almost. What will potentialize one work, or friction, or, like, sometimes they don't have to speak up in the same language. How we can produce, I think what I said before, texture. So it's really not a conversation literally between the artists. Is an exhibition format. The two artists have a conversation within it. I don't know if I answered.
Thank you.
And as you can see, Anna has put the address in the comments right there for you to write down. And yeah, but as I said, pavilionofelecwador.art, you will be able to find all of the information there. Stephanie, Anna, Daria, anything else before we wrap up?
Yeah, Steph?
Well, no, just echoing Manuela's words. We're very excited to be a part of this iconic moment. And we're looking forward to have you there. Just remember the exhibition will be open for about 7 to 8 months. And I do have to add in regards to the Ecuadorian guest who left a comment, we're planning to work on a public program agenda for the remaining part of the exhibition, where we want to work with Ecuadorian artists who live abroad. So I hope to be able to deliver that and make an open call, or just share the agenda for that artists like him can participate and be a part of this. All that will be done to share, ready to share once we have this baby delivered. Before that, we're just focusing on the production of the pavilion. But I thought, he or she should know that the opening of the pavilion is not the end of it. We're going to be constantly working with the pavilion, with the artists, with the idea, and also with artists and Ecuadorians who live abroad, particularly in the Italian area.
That's great. Thank you for commenting on that.
Yeah, we're also thinking about those people who will not be able to go to Venice, and we will think how to organize like digitalized version of the exhibition that we are doing, or to share some reports from there. So all the Ecuadorians, and not only Ecuadorians, who are interested to see what we are creating there will be able to see and to be involved somehow in content. So following our news, you can learn more, and news from the pavilion you can find on the Instagram of Museum of Stephanie. And we are going to share this link also in comments to this video. So please stay with us and follow the news, and see you all on the opening 6th of May, 4 p.m.
That's very precise. Hopefully I'll be there. So if I am, I'll be very happy to report further from the .art team. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking part. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Manuela. Thank you, Stephanie. Gracias a los artistas, Sani, Enoch. Thank you, Daria, for co-moderating with me. Just before we finish, and I'm going to slowly just leave myself here. Thank you, Anna. This was a great webinar, and if you want to get news about more of them, then please follow us on our socials. And of course, the recording of this webinar will be available for our entire audience, and we'll share it in our newsletter. So for that reason, also please subscribe to that. And if you're thinking of getting your .art domain, then you can use promo code webinar, which gives you 50% of any domain, including premium ones, at www.get.art. But also you can get your .art at any registrar like GoDaddy or Namecheap that you already work with. And again, thanks a lot to our speakers and everyone involved, and stay tuned for more.